I grew up in a Christian family, going to King's as a child. At the age of 5, I invited Jesus into my life, but in my secondary school years, I began to turn my back on church. I started smoking marijuana with my friends, which quickly turned into a daily habit. By 16, I was going to illegal raves all over the country and taking as many drugs as I could get my hands on. For a while, it felt like I'd found what I was desperately looking for, a place to belong with a community of people I could relate to. In my own way, I was still searching for God. I tried Rastafarianism mainly because it fitted with my marijuana habit. I believed I could get closer to God through smoking weed. It didn't take long before my life was a complete mess. I'd opened myself up to so many wrong influences and sin. I became extremely paranoid and confused. I was in a dark and lonely place where I didn't feel I could trust anyone, not even my parents. I got to a point where I hated life and I'd stay in bed as long as possible. I was angry with the world and really didn't see any life for me. Then in 2005, at the age of 18, I moved to Bethel, a Christian rehab community. Over time, I began to be challenged by what I saw around me. Ex-addicts, drug dealers, gangsters, quite nasty people, all having their lives completely changed and loving and serving each other in community. It made me question what was happening to them. There were no replacement drugs at Bethel, no self-help steps. The main help they offered was the gospel, the truth about God, and it was changing people's lives. I put all my energy into seeking to know if Jesus was real, and if so, how I could know him personally. I cried out to God, asking him to change me and set me free. It was only as I started to seek God that I realized the darkness I was in and how bound I was by fear. This was a time of spiritual conflict, and it was like the darkness didn't want to let go of me. But I encountered God powerfully, and he set me free. He forgave my sin and gave me a hope and a future. In the 2.5 years I was at Bethel, I saw God change many people's lives. I'd watch them come in the door looking half dead, and within a relatively short time come to life again. I left Bethel 13 years ago, and since then I can honestly say that God has been faithful and blessed me beyond what I could have imagined. I have a beautiful wife and 4 beautiful children. I have my own business too, and I've seen God's help and provision every step of the way. It's been hard at times, but he's been teaching me how to trust him to make a way even when it doesn't seem possible. I've never looked back, and my past now seems like a distant memory. Now, I want to help others to know God's love and provision. With my wife, Eva, I've run the night shelter at King's, providing a meal and a bed and support for people who are homeless. We help lead our King's Table outreach, providing community and dignity for people with addictions, people from all walks of life. I know that God has a huge heart for these people, and he wants to help them out of the ruts they're in. We just try to love people, but it's God who really helps them. It's God who changes lives. My passion is to see God's kingdom come and for him to set others free, to change other people's lives like he's changed mine.